Hi, I am Neil and I welcome you to NCS Forum. Let's say a great goodbye to a great year 2024 that was, and let's welcome the new year with a small prayer for all those who have helped us in the year 2024, whom we have interacted with, who came into contact with us, so that they remain blessed in the coming new year. Now, let's get into the Q&A sessions of Marketing One-on-One. Thank you, Munia, for asking those very intelligent questions. The first question she asked was, how is B2B marketing different from consumer marketing or B2C marketing? And the second question was, how has marketing communication strategy evolved or changed over the last 2 decades or so since I started when I was studying my MBA in the year 1999, I graduated, and from then on till now in 25 years hence, how it has changed or evolved. So let's first look at how B2B marketing is different from B2C or consumer marketing. Okay, first of all, B2B marketing means business to business marketing, wherein a product or a brand communicates with an organization or a firm or a business house or a traders or partners. And B2C marketing is when the product or brand communicates with an individual. Now, one cannot say that the individual is the end consumer and the organization is not. The organization also consumes certain parts of the products or the deliveries of the products in its own way, and the individual consumer consumes the product in their own way. So how are the two different? Here's a quick chart or a table for you to just glance at briefly about the key differences between a B2B marketing and B2C marketing. So I have looked at various aspects in the key differences between a B2B marketing, business marketing, and consumer marketing, that is B2C marketing. First, buyers. As I said earlier, in B2B marketing, the buyers are primarily companies, organizations, specific trade and distribution partners, whereas in B2C consumer marketing, they're individual or households. As far as purchase volume per transactions go, typically or primarily in a B2B marketing, the purchase volume per transactions are large, quite large actually. And as far as the consumer marketing is concerned, they are relatively or much smaller. Product type, in a B2B marketing, one will be selling either a finished goods or FG or even the raw materials to the business house. But in a consumer marketing, only the finished goods are sold. So it will be finished with MRP tags and the other statutory mandatory requirements printed on the label. As far as the decision factors that go into both the aspects of the marketing, in B2B marketing, business benefit focus, efficiencies, cost, ROI, profit, market share gain, etc. the key decision making factors. And in consumer marketing, personal preferences, the emotional needs or the need gaps, the emotional and the functional benefits or gains, the convenience are the primary decision making factors that facilitate a purchase. As far as the marketing approach is concerned, in B2B marketing, it's primarily direct negotiations, customized solutions, relationship building. In consumer marketing, it's mass advertising, social media, influencer marketing, emotional appeals, and brand building. As far as the distribution channels go, B2B marketing sees mostly direct sales, people coming and selling. That's because of purely one-on-one focused conversations and specialized partners, sometimes like the corporate distributors or the corporate partners who sell to large corporates. In terms of consumer marketing, it's mostly retailers, distributors, and e-commerce platforms. Sales cycle, B2B marketing has a much longer sales cycle as compared to a consumer marketing, that is B2C. So while both B2B and B2C marketing focuses on the target audience, TG. For a B2B marketing, the target audience is typically the decision makers like the CEOs or CXOs. If it's raw material, then the supply chain head, the production head, who's the factory managers or the production heads, the marketing department of that particular company, who would probably be using a part of the product or the raw material to make another end product for direct consumers. And so they will have to understand who those target audience are, what are their likes and dislikes, what are their emotional needs and functional needs, and what will they gain if they choose my product. So if I am the person who is approaching a company, what will the CXOs and the CFOs and the marketing heads and the sales team people gain if they decide to buy my product for use in their product manufacturing process, right? So that understanding is critical. example, it is exactly the same as understanding your target audience when you are going for consumer marketing. Both at the end of the day are human beings, and therefore both have needs, and both needs to have a trust towards me, and both needs to be loyal to my brand. So to generate that loyalty, that trust, fulfillment of that functional emotional needs, I would need to therefore strategize and effectively plan out my marketing communication. Now that is the there is no difference whether it is a B2B or a B. The difference lies in the approach. So B2B marketing primarily focuses on what the business house will gain if they consume my product, either directly as a bulk deal. Like for instance, I am let's say Axis Bank credit card or a debit card or Axis Bank account, which I am approaching a particular corporate house so that they give all their employees their salaried accounts in my Axis Bank. So what will they gain out of it? What are the functional benefits? What are the their employees' emotional benefit and the value adds? What do their employees gain? What do their houses gain? So that is all that a part of B2B marketing. So once you have fixed the target audience and you know what are their likes and dislikes and what are their emotional or functional need states or need gaps, then you plan out your marketing communication accordingly. Whether the target audience is an individual or a household direct end user, or the target audience happens to be an individual or a group of individuals or a team of individuals in a corporate house, is immaterial. Target audience is target audience. And in terms of the only fundamental difference between a B2B marketing communication and a B2C marketing communication is that in B2B marketing communications, you focus more on what the business house will gain, what their employees will gain, what the business house will gain in terms of gain in market share, gain in profits, gain in sales. If it's something that is critical for a new product launch of that business house, so whether that product launch will be successful, more successful or less successful because of my product or the marketeer's product being used in that or not, is what is important to communicate. It is typically, as I said before, a direct mode of communication. It's direct one-to-one or one to a couple of. One to many could be restricted to a team of 10, 15 at most. Most of the B2B marketing pitches that I've seen do not exceed more than, being pitched to more than 15 people at the same time. In a B2C marketing, it is one to hugely many. It's like 1 to lakhs and millions and billions of people at the same time, unless you are into a direct marketing scenario wherein it is purely customized for a one-to-one communication. But in that one-to-one communication, the target audience is unknown. In a B2B marketing scenario, the target audience is known. Okay, so if I'm MasterCard and I'm going to Axis Bank, I know Axis Bank. I have researched about Axis Bank, about the key decision makers in Axis Bank. So it is easier to tailor my marketing communication more precisely, aiming at that particular target audience or a set of audiences, and therefore the chances of success is much higher. So in terms of marketing communication hit to conversion ratio is far higher in B2B marketing scenario as compared to B2C, because in B2C my target audience is unknown. I do not know the person who is picking my product from the shelf and using it, right? In a pure mass marketing, low price, low involvement scenario, it is like hugely unknown. That is, how do I know which child is picking that 1 rupee candy or the 1 rupee bubblegum from the shelf? So my communication, again, I have to do more research into this, into understanding my TG. I have a broader TG. I don't have a focused TG. Okay, in a B2B marketing, my TG is focused and known. In a B2C marketing, my TG is unknown. So I have to use a broader base to create my marketing strategy. By broader base, I mean, okay, I will target 5 to 10 year old. So it's a 5-year kind of children who are from 5 to 10, and the number could be like a billion for all and basis the generic or the general aspirations, needs, emotional needs, functional needs of a typical 5 to 10 year old kid, I will then create or craft my marketing strategy basis that generic one or the general one. Since I do not know the specific TG, it will be based on the general TG, right? And then I do my marketing communication planning, and I communicate my product features or brand features and deliveries. My success rate in terms of eyeballs, so number of people who see my marketing communication versus the number of people who purchase my product, my success rate in a B2C is or conversion rate is very low. Even a 1% conversion rate is considered to be very, very high. For example, if I am targeting, let's say, 1 billion and I have a 1% conversion ratio in terms of sales, it is pretty decent, right? Expect in a mass marketing scenario. In a direct marketing scenario, I would think the benchmark is somewhere near 10%. So if I'm targeting, let's say, 10,000 people, then I would want to convert to 1,000 people is considered to be excellent. Anywhere from 500 to 1,000 people is considered to be a good marketing strategy. It would mean that my marketing strategy has been effective and it has been precise for those unknown target audience. So these are all the differences between B2B and B2C marketing. So here's the interesting part in this discussion. Is B2B marketing totally different from B2C marketing? I don't think so. See, B2B marketing is a part of the entire marketing plan or the marketing communication strategy. For example, I am Intel. I am the brand or the product Intel, and I manufacture a motherboard or a chip which is used on a laptop, right? So, who are my customers? Whom do I plan my marketing communications for? I plan for the business houses like the HPs and Lenovo's, because it is their machine on which my chip will be used. And I also plan a marketing communication strategy for the end consumer, which is the individual. Without the individual actually saying yes to my product, the business house will not decide to use my product. Why will an HP or a Lenovo use a Intel or a AMD chip if the consumers have rejected that chip completely? So this is where the catch lies. B2B marketing, in very rare cases wherein, let's say, an ethanol plant supplies some gas or bio carbon fuel, or let's say a business house that generates fuel from the ocean or from the reeds. Then we'll move on to the next question. How has marketing communication strategy evolved from, let's say, 1999 to now 2024? And here are my thoughts on that. So the second question is, how has marketing communication evolved over the last 20 years or so, the last 2 decades? To understand that, we need to first understand what are the elements involved in a marketing communication. Like who is the TG now? How has the TG evolved or changed in the last 20 years as far as the psychological aspects are concerned, their aspirations, the value that they are now seeking from the product or the brand, the per capita income, the spending power has changed. How has the society evolved? By society, I mean post the pandemic, there is now much less physical interaction, much less going out for shopping, and much more propensity to have the product delivered at home. Someone is browsing online and having it delivered to their home. Which brings me to the next crucial element. How has the marketplace evolved? Is it now the typical brick and mortar stores from where the product or the brand is getting sold, or is it now mostly on the online platforms or the B2B marketplace or B2C marketplace? Then comes the fact, what has happened to the raw materials that were consumed in making the brand or the product? How much quantity of raw material available per product unit, per unit of product, how much has that changed over the last 20 years? Has it depleted? Has it remained the same? Has it gone up? Well, to me, I do not think it has remained the same or gone up. It has depleted, and therefore brands or organizations are now having to replace a particular raw material with another one which is now more widely available or easily available at a optimum cost. So therefore that is changing the end delivery of the product, right? Not by a great extent, just by a small delta factor change, but it is still a change. Now all these factors needs to be considered, and how they have changed, that needs to be looked at. Lastly is the advent of technology, whether you call it the boom of smartphones or the usage of smartphones, which has now become a convergent device, the emergence of OTT platform, big time, people going to the movie theaters less and less and consuming that same movie be in the comfort of their homes now through OTT. How has the marketing communication medium changed? Is the budget allocated more towards the television advertising, or does it go into social media and influencer marketing pie, and is now more on one-to-one communication, or one-to-many is still prevalent? There is piggybacking happening, like a particular canvas shoe is marketed on a gaming site. So there are now gamers or gaming sites have now become a big thing. Esports is a very big market opportunity, and a lot of consumers are on that particular esports platform. So everything has changed, the rupee to dollar conversion ratio, that has changed. When I was young, I used to consume brands or products that were indigenous to India or homemade or homegrown. Today, can you tell me when was the last time that you went out to buy a product that was made in India, from India, born in India, so as to say? I don't think there are too many such products that we as consumers are using nowadays. The opening up of the market has enabled all the brands, international brands, to now come and set up their base of operations in India, and they are spending a lot of money to capture the target audience, gain market share, ensure brand loyalty and trust for their products or brands. So that is another big change that has happened. So if all these changes have happened, obviously the marketing communication or the marketing strategy will also evolve or change, right? Now let's discuss a bit more in detail on that. So let's now take how has technology changed brand marketing communication or brand marketing strategy. I will show you an ad that I just came across in LinkedIn, one of the social media sites. Now social media sites have become a hotbed for promoting your brand or product, because depending on who your TG is and what, they are either on Instagram most of the time, or a mix of Instagram, Facebook, Twitter and LinkedIn, or they are spending most of their free time browsing through LinkedIn, right? Or being on LinkedIn. So depending on your TG, these social media platforms are a big base and a very effective tool or medium of communicating and promoting your brand. So I came across this ad in LinkedIn, and I thought it was a brilliant example of how one can mask a one-to-one communication within a mass communication platform or a mass communication strategy. So today you have something called a QR code. Now that QR code, when printed along with the simple brand message on a newspaper ad, becomes a mass advertising medium. It's a mass advertising. So in one shot, you are visible, or you are on, let's say, a billion newspapers, and a billion people are consuming that newspaper, and therefore they are getting a chance to interact with your product. But when you put a QR code on that ad, which earlier was not available, today that technology makes it available for a brand marketeer. You put a QR code, that QR code is linked to the brand's website or the cloud, and there you put in a specific advertisement, or you promote a specific USP, certain key features, advantages and benefit of that product. So Samsung did this, and it was brilliant according to me. So these are the ways, your communication strategies have now changed. So QR code is one such medium or one such method by which you can actually not only understand how many have actually clicked onto that, or you scan that QR code, so that data is immediately available to you. Earlier, when you gave an advertisement on a television or a newspaper, then the calculation of the ROI of that advertisement was very difficult. Today it is not the case. Today you have number of people visiting your website, number of people who has clicked on that ad, number of people who has actually scanned the QR code. So you have all the data points that tells you how many people have interacted with your communication or brand communication, and therefore the brand. So basis the number of interactions, and which is now more precise, and the number of conversion. So how many people who interacted with that ad actually went and bought that product. So now you can marry these two, and you can review the ROI of your marketing communication or marketing plan, and tweak it, change it, edit it and customize it better, so that you have a higher conversion ratio. Earlier that was more of a hit and miss. It was like throwing the stone in the dark and hoping it will hit the target. Today it is not the case. Then what has come? AI. So with AI, not only is the content developed development become faster and cheaper. So now today, instead of creating a TV ad, which is a 30-second TV ad, earlier we used to have a theme ad, which is talks about the brand persona as a theme ad. It used to be 30-second, 45 seconds, and then we used to have small edits or shorts which is taken from that base or mother base of 45-30 second ad, and we used to call it the small ads, where we used to chepo a promotion this thing or a star with a discount offer announcement, etc. Today that is not the case. Today the ads are made to be viewed on a smartphone. The aspect ratio, the way it is shot is such, and it is done most of the ads today are done by using AI tools. So that makes it much more accessible to all the brands. Earlier the brands with the more money could do a better and a longer ad. Today that is not the case. Today even a startup can spend a little amount of money and have a good advertisement or a good marketing communication created in a very short time, and people who are using these AI tools or who are being now sought after are also now in plenty. Okay, so that has changed. Secondly, a very big change has been in the last 5 years, which is post the pandemic. In our lifetime, this is probably the only pandemic, and hopefully, thankfully, the only pandemic that we will have seen. So pandemic has changed everything. It has changed the way a person is valuing his money now. So the person is now valuing that 1 rupee he has in his wallet more than what he used to do earlier. So impulse purchase has probably come down a bit, and now a consumer is seeking more value, much more value for that same buck or money that he is spending. Secondly, social gatherings have come down. So all the social gathering that happens now is either on Insta or Facebook or LinkedIn, right? Also saying, but physical social gathering has come down. So therefore, influencers who were earlier speakers who would stand on a podium or be among a group of 10 to 15 people in that household or in that community who would speak or promote, that has now shifted their communication online, which is YouTubes and the Instagrams and this of the world. And secondly, since we now go out less, so we now prefer to buy online. So therefore, the platform or the retail has shifted from a physical brick and mortar to an online marketplace. There you have an opportunity to showcase your brand separately, and if you pay more money, then you get the top 5 views, and if you pay less money, then you are kept at the bottom, but even you are placed nonetheless, and you can showcase much more features. The brand is communicating directly with the target audience. It is not going via media. So going and training the sales team first, and the sales team then trains the retailer as to how to promote this particular product, how to pitch the USP to the customer. It depends on the retailer's time, the profit the retailer is making from selling that product and everything. But today, the more and more people are shopping online, the more and more easier it is to communicate the USP of the brand directly to the target audience. So all these have therefore made the marketing communication evolve a great deal. I would almost say almost 180 degrees. As far as creativity is concerned, or as far as finding the right hook for base for which the target audience is looking at, that remains the same. The great work done earlier is still being continued today, and the target audience have changed. Even let's say before COVID, the aspirations have changed. It has evolved. So earlier, let's say a product which is targeting the housewives. Okay, so they would show a scenario wherein the housewife has purchased that product and is provided that to her family. So the husband, children, in-laws, parents, right, or brothers. So provided that to the family, and the joy her family is experiencing by consuming that product is the aspiration value of the housewife. Okay, she wanted something that would give her family joy, and that would bring in much more or much higher recognition of herself for herself within the family and within the community that she belongs to. Today, that same housewife is probably more is looking more inward, in the sense that now her aspiration is she wants to go out and work. It has to be a dual income. She wants to contribute to the income of the family. She does not mind staying at home or cooking in the evening or cooking in the morning, but most of the time she is trying to do something for herself. It gives her a sense of satisfaction, it gives her a sense of pride, and so the aspiration levels have changed. So the same, let's say, ad, so same, let's say, smooth cleaning or let's say Clear Seal or something like that, or Fair and Lovely, okay, something, just a name, okay, just like that. So the same ad would show somebody looking good for her husband. Is today that same ad is showing that that same lady, married lady, who is looking good in a bigger in a bigger scenario, like not only her husband, not only looking good to her husband, but looking good for herself, looking good in her office, looking good when she goes out to buy something in the market, and people stealing glances at her. That gives her a huge sense of pride and a sense of achievement. So that aspiration. So today the communication strategy, even though the brand delivery remains the same, but because the psychological profile or the aspirational values or aspirations of a target audience has changed, the communication strategy has also changed. Lastly, direct marketing. So earlier people would allocate 5-10% of their marketing budget into direct marketing, unless you were like a Reader's Digest where 100% budget was direct marketing. Mails used to come, post. Today, do you recollect when was the last time you received a post from, let's say, Reader's Digest or the magazine that you are subscribed to? I haven't got it for the last, donkey's years. So what do I get? I get telecalls, I get mails, I get the QR codes which I scan and see what is there behind it, what is new, and I get messages. There is something called WABA, WhatsApp Business Account, or WhatsApp Business Marketing. So I get through WhatsApp. Whatever I used to get in the mail letterbox, now I get on all these things. So the communication content, the length of the content, the quality of the content, whether it is just a 2D content where it is you just read it, it's something printed, or it is interactive visually and audio visually interactive, all that has changed. So if you are a marketeer, if you have been a marketeer then, like me, and you are a marketeer now, you need to consider all these points, and then you need to refine and refresh your marketing communications or marketing strategy, considering all these changes now that has happened around us. I hope I have answered that question. Thank you for that question. It's been great value to me also in kind of researching on this particular question while preparing the answer for you. And I thank you, and I urge you to ask many more such questions, not only on marketing but also on the product tech reviews that I do. And I pray to the Almighty that you are blessed with a great, happy, healthy, successful New Year 2025. Stay blessed and stay tuned to my channel NCS Forum for next videos. Cheers.